Hello, guys. What's up? Welcome back to episode 2 of Door Kickers and Bootlickers. My name's Benji, and I'm joined by James and Jason. So, James, what's the topic for today?
Today's topic is ignorance. I'm going to start off with asking Jason, of course, what, how common is ignorance with you and your life, your line of work and everything?
Well, it's going to vary, dependently for everyone, and
hmm
so I think that's a very big you know, problem because you've got some people that are, ignorance is bliss, those kind of people, and then the others that just completely take everything completely just realistically, and then they don't, they take the situation as how it is. So I think it definitely varies for person to person, but in this line of work, it's definitely a common thing.
Okay,
That's my simple answer on that.
that's a very good point. Benji, what about you in your life? How common is ignorance?
I'm living in the age where ignorance is everywhere, so you basically just gotta take everything with a grain of salt. You can't take things too serious because people just say what they think. They don't, per se, cater it towards other people's feelings. They just say what they want and just get it out there.
Okay, that is an excellent point. Um, Ignorance is very common with everything: politics, law enforcement, military, anything else like that. I think it's most common these days in politics and law enforcement. But instead of looking at the political side in this episode, we're going to look at, let's say, law enforcement side. So I think law enforcement is very, I don't know, it's taken in so many different ways. The law enforcement community and lifestyle is taken in so many different ways, and everyone who views it in the bad way is ignorant, in my opinion. It has its pros and cons. I definitely get that. The whole law enforcement thing has its pros and cons, like everything. Um, it just takes a few bad apples to ruin it. But everyone everyone looks at cops these days and thinks, oh yeah, he's going to shoot a minority. He's gonna do some bad things. He's gonna shoot an unarmed black man because that's his job, is what they're thinking, and they're very ignorant to it because they're not viewing everything in
They
different
don't look at the
ways.
context.
Yeah, they don't look at the context. That is a very um, common thing. The context is ignored. There's a lot of context to every police shooting. There's context that reveals is that it's good or that it's bad. But the context is key in any law enforcement situation. You are a cop rolling up to a house. It's a meth head. Okay? He's already threatened to kill people before. He's threatening to kill cops. And he's armed. And he's dangerous. You walk up to the doorway. You beat on the door. He steps out. You're talking to him. He says, "Oh, fuck it." Pulls out a gun. Starts shooting at you. So you pull yours and you shoot him. And 90% of the time, situations like that, they're going to they're going to edit the video and everything, and they're going to see the cop draw his gun and shoot the guy. And they're going to say, oh, unarmed man shot. You know? Videos have been edited before and they will still be edited. But people view those videos and believe it's the automatic truth. Excuse me. And that's what makes them ignorant. Um, Jason, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's a very good point. the whole editing of the videos, on Twitter and everything like that. A bunch of people just they simply take that for what it is, and they just think that's the whole story. They don't look at the any police interviews, any transmissions by the police, anything like that.
Hmm.
They just look at that 5-second video of the
Hmm.
cop drawing his weapon and shooting, and they think that's the whole story.
Definitely, definitely. And yes, like I said, there are bad cops, and they should be held accountable when they do bad things.
Just like everybody, gonna be bad people in every profession.
Exactly. But what makes cops look so bad is ignorance. Every cop will be viewed poorly by certain people because they're ignorant. I talked to this kid one time. He he's one of those fake gangsters, I guess you can say. You know, he acts tough. He acts all gangster and everything. He talks like one. He acts like one. He does the signs, everything else like that. But he's not one. And he hates cops. He's constantly talking about it. The reason he hates cops is because they shot his brother. Context behind that: his brother shot at them first. His brother hopped off of this balcony in this apartment complex in the hood, ran down an alleyway, being chased by cops, pulled a gun out of his pocket, turned around, and opened fire on them. Shot a cop. And the cops drew their weapons, and like 5 of them shot him to death. And he views cops poorly because his mother told him, "Oh yeah, those cops, those dirty cops, they shot your brother." And she held the story from him. And she was ignorant too because she was looking for things to blame, or she was looking for something to blame the cops with. She didn't want to blame her son because she was being ignorant. She did not look at it in a professional way. She looked at it in a selfish way, in my opinion. She thought, "Oh yeah, that's my son. He can't do anything wrong. That's impossible. It's the cop's fault that he's dead." And she told her other son that he hates cops, blah blah blah, end of story. But it's not. It's not the end of the story, as much as people want it to be. It's not the end because that kid, when he grows up, he will end up just like his brother. And Jason, I'm sure that you've seen that plenty of times before. In fact, do you have any stories of ignorance to tell us involving your
Well,
line of work?
there's basically a lot of those stories, and yeah, it's no mother should have to bury their kids, but
Mhm.
still, it was completely his fault, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but
Mhm.
it's they were simply doing their job, and the fact that she blames them for that, that's where she's wrong.
Definitely, definitely.
James, what you said before leads me into something that I'm starting to believe. I'm not saying that the mother did this, but I'm starting to believe that people are blaming cops because it's just what they want to hear.
That is an awesome point. It's because mainstream media puts cops in the limelight, you know? They make
And you
these.
see all the news coverages and all the media,
Mhm.
they basically do it for the clicks. That's their job.
Oh, for sure. They they only want to report on the bad stuff because that's what gets them views. But it is screwing over cops. It gets cops killed. And they're being ignorant about that. They're being selfish and ignorant. They aren't looking at the bigger picture, and they're thinking, "Oh yeah, this is going to get us views, this is going to get us money. That's cool." They're not looking at the bigger picture. They're not looking at the fact that they're going to get people killed. They're going to get people arrested and everything else like that. I want to call attention to this show. It's called Blue Bloods. It's an amazing show. I love that show. I watch it all the time. In one particular episode, this cop was shot on duty and was killed. And the mayor, the governor, and the commissioner had a press conference. The governor said, "Yes, this cop was killed, but you have to look at this," and was saying, "Oh yeah, he drew his weapon on what could have been an unarmed black man. I get why they're blaming him, blah 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 blah," and pulled a classic mainstream media and blamed the cop. So she went to the funeral, and all the cops there, they lined up in formation and everything like they should when she walks in, but they put their backs to her. And I thought that was good. That is a perfect representation of how it works, how it is, how it should not be, but how it is. Um, Jason, I have a question. What is the let's see, how do I word this without sounding offensive? What kind of people are usually ignorant? Like, can you describe, in
What
your
kind of
opinion,
people?
like
Hmm.
what kind of people are ignorant?
I'd say I'd say the people that just look after themselves. I think those are the most common thing, the most common type of persons you'll find. Obviously, it varies, like I
Mhm.
said earlier, but definitely I think the people who have no one else to care for, they don't, they want to believe that everything is about them, and they want everything to conform to them.
Mhm. That that sounds right. In my opinion, and in your opinion, and probably Benji's, selfish people are ignorant. Um, Benji, do you have any stories, and you don't have to be specific with them, but do you have any generalized stories about ignorance in your life and how it has affected you?
I'm just gonna start it here that I come from an area in the US where poverty is a big thing
Mhm.
and there's not a lot of, per se, let's just say it's not a good area.
Uh
All
huh.
right. I can tell you that mm, a good 8 out of 10 people you'd meet
Mhm.
would be ignorant and non-friendly towards law enforcement and the whole theory of government
That.
because
Uh huh.
they consider themselves self-made and made on the street, and because everything that happened to them up to this point at a minor age will work in the real world when they're not coddled by the term of minor.
Okay. That I see that. Yeah. Um, Jason. How what kind of situations do you commonly see ignorant people in your line of work?
Hmm. Well, I think there's a bunch of different situations actually, but it's mostly people who want to get out of things, and they don't want to take responsibility for their actions. Like I said a couple minutes ago, it's they want everything to conform to them. They want everything to work the way they specifically want it to work. They don't want to. If they mess up, they want to blame other people. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to take action to fix it. And I think just it's a lot of selfish people.
Okay. Is it more common to see selfish people on a regular traffic stop or a let's see like a warrant execution, I guess.
Well, I do want to say, for anyone who doesn't know, traffic stops are just as dangerous as warrant executions and whatnot, because you don't know what you're walking into. So I'd say that and the whole like psychology thing also ties into that, because you could see people acting nervous and you think that they have something to hide, except they don't want to get shot because they think, because they're ignorant, and they see all the stories about the cops shooting
Hmm.
unarmed people and all of that stuff. And yeah, I think it's just I think it's more common than that, because in warrant executions and whatnot,
Uh-huh.
they know that they're eventually going to get caught, and I think they've kind of taken that with stride,
They've kind
they've
of
taken that in a stride.
hit the
Exactly.
acceptance point.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I want to draw attention to a situation. I don't know. I think it was a few years ago. I know that Donut Operator and maybe Mike the Cop talked about it. I don't remember any like a whole lot about it, but I do know it was this guy who was wanted for, I can't remember. It was like assault, murder, something like that. And they stopped him at the apartment complex he lives at, and he was in his car still. They were talking to him. They surrounded him after they found out who it was and found out that he is most likely armed. They surrounded him, and I want to say there was this dude. He was a cop who like straight up looked like he was like Dev Crew. He had on multicam with a plate carrier and everything else like that. He had a mohawk and a beard, but he was there, and they had him surrounded and everything. And he tried to ram the cops with his car, and he actually pinned a cop between his patrol car, the cop's patrol car, and his car that he was driving. They shot him to death. And the news reported saying that the cop shot an unarmed black man. That is 100% pure ignorance right there. Because everyone took it as that too. They took it at face value. A car can be a weapon. A car can kill someone. If that cop got pinned against his car long enough and in a certain position, his spine could have broken, he could have died. The guy could have taken off, ran over a cop, killed other people in the process, anything like that. In my opinion, he deserved it. And that's going to sound very bad, but he truly did. Because he was wanted for, it was either assault or murder or robbery, and he hit cops with his car. That is assault. That can be even attempted murder, all that kind of stuff. And Jason can tell you how many different ways. I don't need him to, but there's so many ways a car can be turned into a weapon, like in the blink of an eye. Um, Benji, in your like from your experience, what is the common type of person to be ignorant? Like,
Um, Mainly people who don't. I don't mean to make this an overall assumption for everyone, but from my experience, it's mainly people who have given up. Since I'm a minor and I'm still going through school,
hmm
it's people who have given up on through schooling, resorted to basically just the, I don't know, ignorance of them to carry them on through and believe the first thing that they hear. Like they look down in their phone and they see unarmed man shot and killed. and then they read, for example, NYPD shoots unarmed man in vehicle, and then they'll go on to their buddy, who also doesn't care about anything, and they'll say, "Oh, you hear about this?" And then it just snowballs and snowballs into uh, a simple news article saying that, or it could be real or it could not be, but saying that something happened. And then through word of mouth, it just turns into a completely different thing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, let's see here. Ignorance is what I don't know how to say this. Ignorance is so many things in one. Ignorance is it can be death. It can be so many different things. People are ignorant with anything. They're ignorant with, oh yeah, I don't need to wear protection. I'll just pull out. Next thing you know, they're paying child support. I don't need to wear a jacket. I don't need a coat. It's not that cold. Then they're freezing. They got frostbite. People don't look at bigger pictures. They don't read the facts. They don't care enough to. And I'm not saying you should be so selfless, like you give your life for most random person ever. That is for other people. That is for certain people. And that may not be you. But,
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you're either
exactly.
born with it, in my opinion, or you're not.
But be selfless. Be factual. Worry about statistics more than opinions. Facts over feelings. Don't trust someone's word blankly. It's like Benji telling me, "Oh yeah, bro, there's this new thing coming out and it's so cool. Bro, you should definitely get it." I don't read anything about it. I blindly trust him. I get it. Let's say it's a new thing for my gun, new thing for my Glock, new barrel or something. I put the barrel in without reading anything about it. I'm just blindly trusting his word. I go to shoot it, blows my hand off. Don't, even if it's your best friend that you have known for forever, that you trust with your life, or that, yeah, and you don't trust them at all with everything, okay? If they tell me something, like if Jason tells me something tomorrow about some new cool gun thing or new game or something like that, I'm going to kind of take his word for it, but I'm still going to do my research.
Look into it. Yeah, just
Yeah,
yeah. You can don't
like
take everything for granted. Don't take it how it is. Don't take it how it's said.
never
Look into it.
take
Fact
everything
check.
with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Um, Ignorance is dangerous. Ignorance is just terrible, man. Like I see a lot of guys going into the military very ignorant. They blindly trust their recruiters or something like that. The recruiter says, "Oh yeah, you go in, you be a comms guy or an engineer, you'll never see action or anything like that. You don't have
You
to
get
worry
turned
about it."
into a field cook. Exactly.
They get turned into a field cook, or worse, they deploy with the job they got in a combat zone. Do your research on everything, and this is especially for law enforcement and military. Never ever be ignorant. You cannot go up to a compound that you're going to breach and be ignorant about it. You cannot be prepping to do this operation and be ignorant and say, "Oh yeah, it's only going to take a few hours. We won't need night vision." Like 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 Mogadishu. Those guys went in very ignorantly, if that's a word. They went in with a lot of ignorance. They said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be back in like 2 hours. Don't take water. We don't need night vision. Just take this much ammo. Don't take these grenades." Turns out they got pinned down, stranded, and killed, and it lasted 2 days. Went in through the night. You cannot go into anything in life being ignorant. Do not go into a job interview being ignorant. Do not go into the military being ignorant. Do not go into like any first responder job being ignorant. Do not be ignorant. I can't stress this enough. We don't need construction guys being ignorant. We don't need military guys being ignorant. We don't need law enforcement being ignorant.
We can't afford to have these specific. We can't afford to have basically anyone. I mean, well, a lot of people are, but we can't afford to have specific types. I mean, what if all law enforcement people and all construction guys were? Your house would be falling down right now. It would be properly constructed. You'd be fucking dead by a mugger because cops couldn't stop them. You know, there's a bunch of different things that go into it.
And it may not be outright ignorance. It could be overconfidence or something like that. Overconfidence leads to ignorance. But you don't go into a job interview being overconfident and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna ace this, bro. I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna be amazing." And then you don't get it, then you're not getting a paycheck, then you're on the streets. It's with ignorance in life, it is a domino effect. You're ignorant about a job interview. You think you're going to go into it and ace it without doing your research, without writing anything down, without focusing on it. You fail it. That domino knocks over the next one. You're homeless. That knocks over the next one. You're on the streets. Next one. You're depressed. You're mentally destroyed. You're a druggie. It's a domino effect. And I've seen it happen all the time. I've seen it happen with my friends and my family. And it hurts to see that kind of stuff happen to amazing people. Everyone is amazing in their own way, for the most part. Um, but ignorance can lead to so many bad things in life, and it can screw you over so bad with anything you do. And there's always going to be ignorant people out there, but you can at least lower the amount of ignorant people by
Just open
becoming
your eyes.
exactly.
It's a really simple thing to do. My main takeaway from all of this is just open your eyes and be prepared for everything. You have to know the consequences. If you're going out on a hike, let's say you're going out on a hike, bring extra water, bring extra clothing. You know
Hmm.
the consequences. You know you might just get stranded. You might have to call for help. Get a radio, get something like that. Get like I said, extra food, extra clothing, get a mylar blanket. That's just know the consequences. Open your eyes and completely be prepared.
Definitely. Benji, do you
Mm,
have anything you'd like to add?
I mean, just read the facts. Like, do your research, like everyone else is saying. Don't just believe what one person says because you trust them. I mean, I've learned it the hard way that people you've known the most and you thought you could trust,
Hmm.
they leech off you until you realize that they're just using you and they're there for what you have and not actually for you.
Oh yeah,
You know?
and I think everyone has experienced it some way. I think everyone has learned the hard way, at least once in life. I've learned the hard way a few times. Dark has, you have, Trey has. Sadly, he's not here. But it's and it's one of those things you can't just learn about like you can something in a book. It's something that you have to experience in order to understand. Um, I think all three of us have experienced ignorance, whether it be from ourselves or from other people. I have met plenty of ignorant people in my life. Dark has, or Jason has, Benji has, and they have all seen that person fall because of their ignorance. It's it's a simple concept, like I was explaining earlier with the domino effect. One thing leads to another, and what starts that chain reaction is being ignorant in that sort of situation. Ignorance does not cause everything to go wrong. Ignorance isn't the problem with everything, but it is the problem with a lot of stuff. It is the problem with politics. It is the problem with the military. It is the problem with first responders. It is the problem with all this stuff. And ignorance is seen everywhere. Ignorance is within everyone.
It's in your day-to-day life. You'll
hmm
see it every day.
Ignorance is within everyone. You can listen to what we're saying and actually try and do better, but you're still going to be ignorant. I'm ignorant sometimes. Jason is ignorant sometimes. Benji is ignorant sometimes. It's it's in everyone's life, one way or another, whether it be past, present, or going to be in your future. It can be you, it can be your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your coworker, your partner. It could be anyone. And it will affect you somehow, but there's an easy way to avoid it. Spread the word. Spread the message. Tell them everything that you've heard from us. And I don't know, I ran out of words there. But ignorance is bliss, you know? Ignorance has led to communism, dictatorships, and socialism. It has led to poor military operations, poor police operations, poor construction jobs, poor schooling, anything like that. And I don't exactly wish it upon everyone, but it would be nice for everyone to experience ignorance in some way from themselves. It would be nice for someone to
Yeah, you
see
live and you learn. That's
exactly. It would be nice for everyone to actually have a situation happen caused by ignorance. Like I said, I don't wish it upon everyone, but everyone needs it somehow. Um, we've all seen it. Benji's seen it. I've seen it. Jason's seen it. It's it's bad, you know. And what's even funnier about all of like even funnier than all of our random words that we've been spitting out here is The people who don't recognize ignorance are ignorant. It's ironic, you know. They don't recognize the ignorance, and they're ignorant because they don't recognize the ignorance. Um, Benji, I have a very important question for you. What do you blame ignorance for, like certain situations in your life?
I mean, yeah, because I'm not saying that it's human to be ignorant. Basically, ignorance is what you want to believe. That's what being ignorant is. It's making decisions that you thought were the right thing at the moment, and then you actually think about it and think about the um, consequences that could possibly come from that
Hmm.
decision, and realize that you were ignorant and thought quickly and made the wrong decision.
Okay. Um, Jason, same exact question for you. Do you blame ignorance for some of the problems in your life?
Definitely, and that's on both ends too. I've been ignorant. God, English is hard. I've been ignorant plenty of times, and that has led to some fuck ups. But you see it from a lot of people too, you know. And the first step is admitting. Well, that sounds kind of cliche, but it really is. You got to admit that you're wrong, and you got to see the bigger picture. And I think that's gonna help a lot of people.
Okay. Personally, I blame ignorance for a lot of the problems in my life, whether it be my own ignorance or someone else's. Um, I guess the takeaway from this is ignorance is bad. Statistics, facts, context, investigations are good. We would never be able to catch all the criminals that we have if all the detectives were ignorant. Just recently, detectives in the NYPD arrested, I believe it was four street thugs, and they were indicted on 48 different things. And the reason they were caught is because the cops were not ignorant. They did their investigation. They looked at the facts. They looked at the evidence. They actually investigated it. They were not ignorant about it. And the reason we have had so many successful operations, such as the raid on Baghdadi, Osama bin Laden, anything like that, is because we weren't ignorant about it. We did our recon, we gathered our information, we studied everything, and we created an actual plan based on that
And
stuff.
even with the Osama bin Laden raid, the CIA, I'd say they were pretty ignorant because they held off for
Definitely.
what was it, 4 years? I
Hmm.
mean, they didn't take action, they didn't do any recon until 3 years up until they had that location. So that's also a thing to take into account. It does fuck up. It a lot of people's lives and just a lot of situations in general.
I think all of us here, especially, have most likely lost someone, whether it be friends, family, something like that, due to ignorance. I have. A friend of mine was ignorant about something. He was ignorant about a girl that he liked. He he saw her with another guy, and he immediately went down the wrong path. He didn't look into it. He didn't ask questions. He saw what he wanted to see. He saw the bad thing and did not look at it in a bigger. He didn't look at the bigger picture. Didn't actually like back up and think about it. He immediately went to the bad, and he inevitably killed himself because of it. And turns out it was her cousin that she hasn't seen in a long time. And all he saw was her hug him. And he immediately thought, oh yeah, she's cheating on me. God, I'm just gonna kill myself. He didn't actually act on anything in a way. He didn't act on what he should have acted on. He acted on the bad, not the good. And Benji, I'm assuming that you've had a situation like that. You've lost a friend or family member due to ignorance in some way.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly. And I know Jason has. Um, Jason, um, what? How do I ask this? Um, what is the worst thing you can be ignorant about in life? Like, in your opinion, like, whether it be firearms or vehicles.
I'd say anything that can get people killed, like drunk driving and firearms, stuff like that, they will inevitably get someone killed. And I think that's the main thing that I would, strive to not be ignorant on things that will and can kill.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I agree, and Benji, I'm assuming you agree.
Hmm.
Yeah, that that is a perfect answer to that question. Um, Benji, in the workplace,
Hmm.
what kind of job do you think is the worst job to be ignorant in?
I'm gonna honestly say military and law enforcement,
Okay,
because if you're ignorant and you do things for say based on emotion, you're not gonna get anywhere, and you're just gonna create a bad image.
okay, yeah,
It's
I'd
gonna
have to
end up
agree with that
badly.
because in that profession, making mistakes based on emotion and ignorance and stuff like that, it will get people killed.
definitely, definitely. Um, Jason, what is the funniest um situation that you've seen caused by ignorance? Can you like give us a little story?
I'd say a lot of the sovereign citizens. I think those are really funny, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. Um, Benji, what is the most random and like what is the most random thing you've seen ignorance cause? Like the dumbest situation?
Alright, so I have a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and we were on trails, and there's a ramp on the trails, and we were all on dirt bikes and quads, and there's a ramp, and it gives you a decent sized jump, and you get a good few seconds of air, and there is another I guess you could say like landing ramp, or if you wanted to go from the other side. And my friend was positive that on his little mini bike, he can go up the one side of the ramp and land on the other side perfectly. And everyone said, "Nope, you can't do it. You're gonna hurt yourself." Guy wanted to prove himself. He went up the one ramp, lost control of the bike in midair, fell, and shattered his elbow.
Yeah, that's yeah. um.
He was
Okay.
ignorant. And he thought he can do it.
All right. Jason, what is the let's see. What is the most random like situation you've seen caused by ignorance, such as like someone getting mad over the tiniest thing?
Oh, I'd say people like, let's just say some waitress at a restaurant, they make the tiniest mistake and they get the type of cheese wrong, you know. I don't know, just something random. And people absolutely freaking they just freak out. They flip their shit over that. I just think to myself, it's a tiny mistake. It can be easily fixed. I don't know why they get so upset over it.
Well, yeah. That's yeah, I've seen that happen a few times. Um what is let's see, Benji, what is let's see. What is the most ignorant thing that you have done personally?
Um, I'm gonna be hmm. Recently, actually, quite recently. Um, there was a big feud in my friend group. Everyone's good now, but there's a feud because some such and such happened, which caused people to switch sides, and I ignorantly believed my friend that I've known for God I don't know how long. And turned out that he was wrong, and I defended him so much, and since I was ignorant and I believed him over everyone else, I looked like a big dick, and I got everything wrong.
I think everyone has done that at least once, or at least something similar. We'll do a few more questions here. Um, Jason, um, same question. What is the most ignorant thing that you've ever done?
Hmm. Most ignorant thing I've ever done. It's an interesting question. Kind of stalling to think about it right now. Hang on.
See, he has to think about it so much because there's so many ignorant things that he's done.
I don't know. I think that ties into the last question you asked me. I get mad over some trivial shit too, for
Tell
no
me about it.
reason. And then I think back and I just like I think why did I get angry at that? You know, like just it was completely unnecessary.
I figured you were going to talk about how you blindly believed everyone when they said college was good for you. Um,
Oh God.
um,
Did it for the job.
well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, Benji. I think this is gonna be a good one. What is the most ignorant thing that you have, and I mean not from your friends or something, from a random person? What is the most ignorant thing you've seen a random person do on the streets or something?
Um, it's actually quite funny. Um, I was in traffic one time, and everyone was merging because there was a traffic stop, and it involved closing a lane of traffic. I don't know why, but it just did. And two people, I'm sure people have seen it on the internet as well, have done rock paper scissors for a spot to get in, because everyone's rushing to get in, and there's an open spot. And they do rock paper scissors, and the guy who said to do it loses, and then gets mad.
Yeah. um. Jason, what is the most ignorant thing that your family has done? How about that one?
Most ignorant thing my family has ever done. I think, splitting up. That's kind of personal, but fuck it, we'll get into it. I think that was a big mistake, in my opinion. But I guess it's everything's worked out, but I still think it was a mistake.
Okay, yeah. Um, I'll answer a few of these questions myself. Most ignorant thing I've ever done. Um, I think the most ignorant thing I've ever done would be. I gotta think. I've done so many ignorant things. Huh. Well, I think believing everybody when they told me I should start a podcast. I'm kidding. Um, I gotta think like the most ignorant thing I've done. I've done so many ignorant things. Um, I think I think this is a good one. Um, deciding to go to a party with my friends and chase each other around with flaming sticks that we picked up from this bonfire. I thought, well, nothing can go wrong there. Well,
Well, something went
a few
wrong.
people got hurt. Long story short. Most ignorant thing I've seen a random person do was probably this woman who, and this is going to be the most stereotypical Karen thing ever. This woman who wanted a sandwich, a specific sandwich from Subway. I do not remember the specific sandwich, but she wanted that sandwich and they couldn't make it because they were out of certain ingredients that they needed. And it reminded me of the scene in that show Southland. She called the cops because they didn't have the proper ingredients, and she threw a fit about it. She yelled, she screamed, and yes, she did ask for the manager. She threatened people and everything else like that, and called the cops over it, thinking that the cops would do something about it. Turns out she was the one that would get arrested. But I thought that was really funny. I think that's the most random ignorant thing I've seen. Um the most ignorant thing my family's ever done. Meth. I think meth is the most ignorant thing my family's done. Um Most ignorant thing my friends have done. Probably the same situation I said for most ignorant thing I've done would be chase each other around with flaming sticks. Um, if you two have anything else to add,
No, I basically want to say, open your eyes if you are ignorant. See if you are ignorant or not, and if you are, open your eyes and always be prepared for everything. Double check everything. Look at the facts. Facts over feelings. I know we keep saying that
hmm,
a lot, but it is true. It really is. Just double check everything. Check the facts. Don't go off emotions. Be prepared. Just general stuff like that. Know the consequences to all your actions, all your words.
uh,
Basically all I got.
Benji, anything you'd
Yeah,
like to add? Any questions, comments?
I can't stress this enough. Check the facts and don't go from one source. Go from multiple sources. Gather up information. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. Uh, main takeaway from this is don't be ignorant, be factual, know the statistics, check the context, and most importantly, stay classy and stay American.